Hi everyone, welcome back to the Scrapbook and Cards Today YouTube channel. I'm Cathy Zielske, and today I'm going to be sharing a layout project with you from our summer 2020 issue. And I've got a few things for you today. I've got a free template download and a free cut file. This video is going to be divided into two parts. The first part is using my Photoshop template to get your journaling in place for your scrapbook page. The second part of the video is a page build. If you want to skip the digital stuff and go straight to the page build, see the timestamp below the video. Let's get started. Today I'm working in Photoshop Elements, and you can use any version of Photoshop to complete this task, but you will need Photoshop or some other application that can work with layered templates. Now here's the thing, all I'm using this template for is to add journaling. You can use this for digital scrapbooking if you're a digital scrapbooker, but this is really geared towards people who want to get custom and precision journaling down onto cardstock and then layer in other elements right on your craft room table. So here's what I'm going to start out by doing. There are layers here that we're working with. The first one is going to be our journaling layer. Now I'm going to zoom in here. I'm going to hold down my Command key on a Mac or my Control key on a PC. And if I drop my finger onto the space bar, I get this wonderful zoom tool. And when I get that, I can click and drag and release. And what that does is it will bring it right into the center of my screen larger. Now the font that this particular template uses is called Open Sans. It is a free font. When you opened this file, if you don't have the font, oftentimes your computer is going to substitute whatever you have. But the beautiful thing is you can change this to whatever you want. Now, one thing I want to point out, I have custom designed spacing between each one of these items. I've done that on purpose because sometimes a full return is just a little too much space. So if you're frustrated with why is there space between, it's because it has been set up this way. So the idea of this page is that you take your title, which is What I Love About You, or you can also change this to What We Love About You. This is an editable block of type, and you're going to create a list. List journaling that starts out with the same words every time can really help propel your journaling. Now, one thing I want to show you how to do really quickly is change the font. The Love About You is not a font. That is a graphic that has been designed to look a certain way. So I'm going to highlight this text. I'm going to come down here and I'm going to change this to a font I use a lot called Avenir. And when I type in Avenir, I'm going to go up to my favorite, let's see, Avenir Roman. That looks good. I'm going to click OK and the check mark. And now I've got my journaling. I'm going to scroll here as well to this portion. I'm going to highlight all of it. I think if you triple click, or quadruple click, there you go. I'm going to get all that at once, and I'm going to come down here. Now, it's not showing any font because I have a bold font where the date is, and we'll deal with that in a second. Again, I'm going to come in here and type in Avenir, but I am going to go with light because that is one that I really like for journaling. And then I'm going to come over here where the date is. Now you can click a faux bold, or if your font actually has bold, let's see here, where's my bold? I'm going to go down one more, a little bit more, and I'm going to go with black. I like my dates to be bold at the bottom, and I'm going to click the check mark to commit the change. All right, now you can download the free font that I'm using if you like it, and I'll also provide a link below the video to direct you to where you would get that font. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to pick your subject and start typing. So I'm going to go ahead off camera and type in all of my journaling, and then I'm going to show you the best way to get that journaling printed out. All right, my journaling has been typed and it's in place, and I wanted to show you something really quickly too. Because there is spacing that has been predefined, if you were to adjust one of your lines, and let's say you wanted this word R to go on the next line, watch what happens. When I hit return, see how it adds that space and you're like, wait, I don't want that space. I'm going to undo that by going Command or Control. Well, let's get it back up. Let's just go like this. If you want to do a shift return to move a word down to the next line, just hold your Shift key down, and when you do, your spacing will be preserved. All right, I've got my journaling. I'm going to hit my check mark, and here's what I'm going to do. I am not going to worry about the rest of the template because you could go in and turn off all the layers, but here's a really quick shortcut to print your journaling. First, I'm going to go Command or Control numeral 0 to go into full page view. And the quickest way to get this into a printable form is to just create a new document. You can go through and turn off all the layers, but you know what? I just recently started doing this and it works great. What you want to do is click on the journaling that you want. Now, if you look in the layers palette here, you can also select the what I love at the same time. So hold down your Shift key to get them both highlighted. Then right click and go duplicate layers. And when this window comes up, you're going to choose New and say OK. And look what happens. It brings just those layers into a new document. Now that checkerboard background, if that's bugging you, what you can do is come up to your layers palette, right? Go create new layer. It'll go right to the top. So you want to click, drag it all the way to the bottom and release. And then you can come over to your little set color picker. Make sure that is white, and if it's not, hang on here, you can just, I think if you just hit D, it will reset. And what you're going to want to do, well, let's click that off again. Get your bucket tool. This is super quick, and just click. And what it will do is it will fill that new layer so that you can see exactly what you're doing. Now your journaling is ready to be printed out onto your choice of cardstock. I'm printing mine out onto white cardstock. You can pick any cardstock you like, but that is how you get your journaling ready to go for the cut file itself, as well as the rest of the elements you're going to use. So I will see you now on the craft room table to complete this hybrid page. I've got my journaling printed out on some white cardstock. You can see that at the bottom, the little things that I up top, and the space for all the other elements is ready to go. I wanted to show you this paper that I cut my Love About You out of. This is from Close to My Heart. It's really cool. It's got this spot varnish pattern, so it's shiny. It looks like the whole thing has been embossed, and I just thought that was a really cool tone-on-tone texture. You can see it here on the cut file as well. I just thought that was cool. If you ever have issues getting little pieces out when you get your cut files off of the mat, you can just use something like a craft pick. That's what I do, and just kind of poke out those the little sticklers that are sticking around, and now we're ready to go. Now here's some more paper from Close to My Heart. This also has this cool spot varnish stripe pattern, and I just thought this would look really nice on this layout. So I've got my Gina K dot runner. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to speed this up a little. I'm going to add my dot runner to the back. Not too much, but just enough, and position that on the left side of my cardstock. Placing that down. And now I'll take my strip here. I thought this was a nice sort of masculine paper because the reverse side, this is a page about my hubby, so I didn't think the flowers maybe were as good, but I love this geometric pattern. I'm going to quickly line this up, bringing in my clear T-square, pressing that down. All right. Now I'm going to use liquid glue to adhere the cut file, and here's why. Sometimes with dot runner and a delicate cut file, if you place something down and it's in the wrong place, it's kind of hard to pick it up and move it around. So with this liquid glue, it doesn't dry right away, and you have a little bit of play time to get your element positioned just so. So I really like using liquid glue for placing delicate cut files. I'll bring in my ruler, make sure that's straight, and then just gently press everything down. Next, the photo. Now I've matted this little square photo on some white cardstock, and I'm going to pop it up with some thin foam squares from scrapbook adhesives. I love these because they're not too lofty, if you will. I don't like a lot of bulk on my scrapbook pages because I don't want my page protectors to be bulky. This adds a tiny bit, but not too much. Now here's a pro tip. Foam squares are also a little unforgiving if you place them in the wrong place, but if you put a little bit of liquid adhesive right on top of those foam squares, it almost creates like a hydroplane, and it allows you to kind of wiggle it into place before you fully commit. And once you commit and it's all lined up, press and seal. Love it. Now there's a whole collection of cardstock stickers with this paper collection, and I'm going to pop off a few things here, some hearts. But what I like to do with cardstock stickers is take the stick off. I have a powder tool from EK Success here. I'm just going to add powder because if you take the stick off, then you can do more things with your stickers. Does that make sense? Actually, don't do it in your hand. Put it on a piece of paper. There we go, Kath. Much better. But I like to take the stick off so that I can pop them up. If you don't have this powder tool, you might have an embossing magic pad, and this works as well too, because all this is doing is laying down some powder to take off the stick. This also lets you kind of place things around and kind of get a better visual of where you want these elements to be. But like I said, I like to pop them up. So I've got my larger thin foam squares, but I also have these mini ones, also from scrapbook adhesives. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to place these on the back of my stickers, and they will be popped up as well. Again, having a little more control over where you place things, I'm all about that when I'm scrapbooking. So this approach gives me a little bit more control. I also often will cut my little thin foam squares into pieces just to get them into these tiny little areas, because I like, again, to have things popped up, not too high off the page, but a little bit of dimension is nice. I've got these arranged in a way that I think looks pretty nice, and I'll start adhering. I'm going to use dot adhesive to place the heart directly onto the background. No popping up with that. But then I will pop up the little heart just off to the right for a little dimension. And then I'll repeat. Little dot runner on the heart that's larger. I'm just going to line that up and put it right onto my photo. Press that down. I thought it looked cute to have that dividing line of the heart right over the strip, and pop up a heart. And finally, I will pop up the arrow. I decided to bring it down a little. I didn't like it up higher. I thought that was cuter. And now I've got a nice little bit of repetition of my popped up sticker elements. And that is the finished scrapbook page for today. Starting in the digital realm and bringing it to your table, the hybrid process can be really simple like this, just using a template to get your journaling into place, and then bringing in your cup files and your other more traditional scrapbooking elements. Thanks so much for watching today. We would love to have you become a subscriber to the Scrapbook and Cards Today YouTube channel, and we'll see you back here with more videos soon.